This is the CBC Morning Report for Friday, May 12th. Good morning. I'm Tisha Hines. In our top story, the Pan American Health Organization has sounded the alarm on chikungunya. The number of cases of chikungunya in 2023 in the Americas has reached 160,000 compared to 122,000 in a similar period in 2022. This explosive increase in the Southern Hemisphere countries is worrying since it's the transmission season for the mosquitoes, while transmission season in the Northern Hemisphere and especially Caribbean will start in August. Another reason behind sounding the alarm is El Niño, the Western Pacific disturbance related to higher temperatures in the summer. To discuss what all this means is Dr. Singh, Advisor, Health, Surveillance and Disease Prevention and Control at PAHO. Good morning to you, Dr. Singh.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. Now, let's first look at what chikungunya is and how it affects a person, say, compared to dengue fever, which we're more familiar with.
So in case of chikungunya, mostly the acute phase when you have the fever is usually mild, but what is complicating is the residual effects. So people, as the word goes, chikungunya, it means bone-breaking fever. So you would get, those who have had chikungunya would very well know how it feels like. It's bone-crushing pain that you can sustainably have for about weeks to even months. Usually, sometimes it may last up to 6 months, 6 years. And this year's, we have seen some deaths in mostly infants coming out from South American region. So that's also a little bit worrying, although the number of deaths is still relatively low compared to others.
What stats, if any, do we have for Barbados, and what precautions can we take to make sure that we don't see the level of fallout that we have in other places?
So for Barbados, luckily, we haven't seen any case of Zika reported this year. Sorry, chikungunya this year or last year. We haven't seen any cases of Zika also this year or last year. There have been some cases of dengue, about 81 cases of dengue this year. Compared to almost 330 last year and 440 in the year before that. So comparatively speaking, I say the number of cases of these three diseases are relatively low. It's the same mosquito which transmits all of these three diseases. So basically you monitor all those three to assess the trends. And what can we do in the Barbados region? Well, we know there are no vaccines available currently for any one of these three diseases. Mostly what we can do is mosquito prevention, mosquito control. At homes, people are advised to wear long clothes, make sure that the receptacles that they have for water are clean. There's no standing water. They make sure that the mosquitoes are not breeding within their own households. Those are the minimal things that the Ministry of Health of Barbados has also been recommending over a longer period of time.
Now, we know that these diseases are spread by different mosquitoes. So is it possible that a person could contract chikungunya and, say, dengue simultaneously?
Absolutely. It's very possible to have all three of them together at one place. Of course, it's rare and also happens when you have both of these epidemics or outbreaks of both diseases happening at the same time. But the possibility does exist of having both at the same time, both or three.
All right. Are there any recommended medicines at all that one could say, for example, take beforehand, to minimize symptoms or make it less severe, if they're seeing early signs?
Unfortunately, unfortunately, there are no prevention medicines. There's no prophylaxis, if you may ask that way. So the only prevention methods are actually mosquito control to prevent yourself being bitten by mosquitoes anywhere. And as you might know, the mosquito that is responsible for Zika, chikungunya, and dengue is the same mosquito. It's Aedes, which actually can bite during the day as well as night. So the precautions have not only been taken during night while you're sleeping, but during the day also. And the precautions, of course, when you're working in your offices or schools, that's where most likely the transmission will happen. Most likely the biting might happen. So those are the places that have to be protected also, outside of your houses.
What about people that are feeling the long-term effects of the viruses? As you mentioned earlier, some people can experience the effects for quite some time after. Are there any medicines that you should stay away from, for example?
Definitely dengue for sure. When you're not very clear as to initially the fever starts off, and as a layman person, you might not know what's the difference between Zika, chikungunya, or dengue. So what we advise is that do not immediately start yourselves on what we call as non-steroid and anti-inflammatory medicines like ibuprofen or others, or even diclofenac. So usually we would advise people to take, if at all, for fever, paracetamol, not take the NSAIDs, because they may actually cause more complications in the long run, or even acutely. But definitely, you can take any amount of paracetamol up to a recommended level to calm the fever. And if you have pains, perhaps you should see a medical doctor for long-term treatment. Again, the treatment would depend upon person to person to see what symptoms are happening and how can they be alleviated.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Pradrup Singh, Advisor, Health Surveillance and Disease Prevention and Control at the Pan American Health Organization. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, coming up on the CBC Morning Report, Title 42 ended at midnight last night, and the U.S. is now bracing for masses of migrants. That's coming up. The Big Bajan Bake Off is back, and the top 5 have been selected. Tune in Fridays at 8:03 p.m. to find out who will be crowned the best Bajan baker.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the bones.
Well, Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives have passed a sweeping bill to build more stretches of wall along the United States-Mexico border and impose new restrictions on asylum seekers, creating a hard-line counter to President Joe Biden's policies. The legislation passed on Thursday advances to the Senate just as migrants and asylum seekers are amassing along the border with the end of COVID-19 pandemic restrictions under Title 42.
That is the wall over there, not the rust-colored thing. That's just an overpass. But behind that, if you see that darker fence, that is the wall along the river between the U.S. and Mexico. There's Juarez, the city of Juarez behind that. You can see it goes right up to the border. And if you look down that dirt road, you can see there's a Humvee. That is because this border has become militarized. You've always had the Border Patrol along here, but now there are 4,000 U.S. troops. 1,500 regular troops, 2,500 National Guard troops, and they are joining the Border Patrol to try to hold back this human tide. tide that is surging at the border. And here in the town of El Paso, we have noticed that in places where you would normally see hundreds of people on the street, they have been swept away and processed ahead of time because they want to be ready for the number of people that are expected to come across the border here. The Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas just spoke at a news conference not long ago. He warned people that if you come across the border and you don't have good cause to claim asylum here, you will be deported and sent back. And under those new rules, John told you a little about them, but another one is that if you are deported, you will be banned from coming back into the U.S. for 5 years. That's a hefty penalty. So the rules are actually quite strict. The number of law enforcement people is dramatically increased, but that is a 3,000-kilometer border, so it's not clear that there is enough manpower on there to hold back the human tide on the other side.
Britain is donating long-range Storm Shadow missiles to Ukraine to help that country reclaim territory lost to Russia since the start of its invasion.
UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace says the Storm Shadow missiles have a range of 250 kilometres. That's farther than any weapon Ukraine currently possesses. It comes as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says a long-awaited counter-offensive is delayed because more weapons are needed to limit casualties. Charles Stratford has more from the Ukrainian capital.
The Storm Shadow cruise missile has a range of at least 250 kilometres. That's far greater range than any kind of military kit that Ukraine's allies has supplied it since the war started. Of course, there have been fears by Ukraine's allies that in supplying weapons like this, Kiev may use them to target areas inside Russia. And we understand that the UK's decision to supply these missiles comes with guarantees from Ukraine that it will not do that. The missile is usually delivered by aircraft and flies at low altitude in order to avoid enemy radar. UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace said that the decision was calibrated and proportionate to Russia's escalations. And he said that the missiles will allow Ukraine to push back Russian forces occupying Ukrainian territory. Of course, this decision comes as we expect some sort of counter-offensive by the Ukrainian forces, a counter-offensive that has been expected for weeks now. We understand that there has been a lot of soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers, that have moved to the east and the south in recent weeks, along with a lot of that Western-supplied military kit. But it's been interesting in the last 24 hours or so. President Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian leader, said that they needed more time, so more of this promised Western military equipment could arrive.
Well, time now for us to take a look at what's coming up on Morning Barbados. We have, of course, the Division of Culture coming through as we look toward Africa Day. There's a hair and dress competition. Dr. Sharon Johnson and Senator John King will be in to tell us more about that on Morning Barbados. Plus, Nicole Collins of the CBC Marketing Department is in to tell you how festival ready the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation is. It's a fresh Friday. That means we have new music for the festival. Reigning Monarch Kwan is going to be here, and who knows, you just might get to see him perform live. And of course, it's International Day on Plant Health, so Ian Griffith, officer in charge of the plant quarantine in the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and National Security, and Nutritional Security rather, he will be here to share with us too. Plus, we give you an update on the big society, historical society heritage concert put on by the Barbados Museum. That's all coming up today, Friday, on Morning Barbados. More news, sports, and weather is coming up after this break.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come.
Well, the recent extradition of a Trinidadian from Barbados is heading to the law courts. Attorneys for Brent Thomas are preparing for legal action against the Barbados Police Service and the Attorney General. Junior Counsel Devesh Maharaj confirmed the development to CBC News in a telephone interview from Trinidad last evening. He says they've contacted a Barbadian attorney but declined to reveal the person's identity until certain matters have been finalized. According to Mr. Maharaj, those preliminary conversations included how they will proceed with the matter. Currently, they're exploring bringing a constitutional law case. Based on the discussions with local counsel, Mr. Maharaj believes in short order they should, on behalf of Mr. Thomas, be taking the first steps towards filing a legal motion. His comment comes 2 days after Barbados Attorney General Dale Marshall, in a ministerial statement, admitted that the actions of the Barbados Police Service fell somewhat short of the applicable legal norms. Trinidad's Attorney General Reginald Armour, also delivering a ministerial statement, indicated that the return of Mr. Thomas from Barbados to Trinidad was unlawful. The newly appointed president of the Barbados Road Safety Association is appealing for the driver in a reported hit and run to come forward. The incident involves the daughter of a popular entertainer, Marsville. 18-year-old Akia John McQuilkin was the passenger in a vehicle traveling along Brighton in St. George on Monday evening when it was involved in a collision with another vehicle. She had to be extracted from the wreck by fire officials using the jaws of life. In a social media post, the entertainer said the accident has left the teenager hospitalized with neck fractures. The family is awaiting word on whether she will need to undergo surgery. Speaking during a media conference, Roland Lowe called on the driver of the other vehicle who left the scene to turn themselves in.
And I'm a father too. And when I saw it, it hurt me. It really did. Because you have a situation where somebody's child has been involved in an accident. You collided with a person, and you had it in your mind to just drive off before even stopping to check to see the state of that person. I spoke to him and I asked him about if I could violate this morning, and he gave me permission to speak on it. And I just want to use my remaining time to implore the person who was involved in that to come forward. I understand you might have been in shock, you might have been scared, but it's a person's life that we're talking about.
Now, according to an eyewitness, the other vehicle involved in the hit and run was a blue truck. The Barbados Road Safety Association has a new executive committee for the second time in a matter of weeks. This after the results of the March 2023 election were ruled null and void. The new executive was introduced during a media conference at Corporators General Insurance over in Colomorock, St. Michael. Former President and Executive Director Charmaine Roland Bowen said the members were appointed after several breaches in the lead-up to the election were discovered.
The Board of Directors, acting within their granted powers, declared the election to be null and void and of no effect. In accordance to Article 7.2 of our Constitution, which outlines the procedures for filling vacancies on the Executive Committee, the Executive Director is authorized to appoint suitably qualified individuals to fulfill those positions until the next annual AGM is called, which would be 2024.
Now, when pressed to elaborate on the alleged breaches, Ms. Roland Bowen acknowledged there had been some controversy within the organization. Only on Monday, she released a letter stating that the man who had been elected president in March had been terminated and was no longer affiliated with the organization. The newly appointed public relations officer, Erskine Cumberbatch, says the voting process was not done in accordance with the BRSA's constitution.
From way back when, we would have given the members a copy of the Constitution. When elections is about getting close, there's a system that must operate. All the members must know, they must be notified, they must make sure that your subs are up, and so on. You cannot just wait last minute nitty-gritty and do things. So that is a serious breach of the Constitution.
Meanwhile, former police officer Roland Lowe has been appointed president. He wants to create a culture of safety so that good road use practices become second nature to citizens. One of the initiatives he hopes to undertake during his tenure is a nationwide study,
where we seek to find out what are the main issues that drivers are facing relative to the rules of the road, adhering to those rules, and also concerns relative to the use of the road, whether it be roundabouts, signage, whatever the case may be. I have already contacted a former colleague of mine who's in a senior management position at the University of the West Indies, and that he has experience with these matters in terms of conducting research, and that is one of the first things that we want to do, because we don't want to go there swinging wildly. We want to identify the issues, hone in on those issues, and then formulate strategies to tackle those issues.
News from down the region now. Trinidad and Tobago's Ministry of Health is warning that it is going after pharmacies that are irresponsibly selling antibiotics without a doctor's prescription. Health officials say there's now an overuse of antibiotics and similar drugs among the population, adding to a global health concern. CNC3 reports.
First discovered in 1928 by Alexander Fleming, antibiotics is considered one of the most revolutionary tools available in modern medicine. But now the health minister wonders if Fleming would have doubts today.
If Dr. Fleming knew what he unleashed, would he have regretted it?
PAHO country representative Dr. Erica Wheeler is concerned that antimicrobials are being abused.
Worldwide, more than half of all the antibiotics that are prescribed, distributed, or sold inappropriately. In 80% of the countries of the Americas, antibiotics can be purchased without a prescription.
And that, according to Dr. Wheeler, contributes to a major public health crisis globally, causing antimicrobial resistance. The overuse of these medications have been limiting their efficacy.
So that means that your small pneumonia is going to develop into a bigger pneumonia. It means that you're not going to be able to be treated with antibiotics before surgery. It means that your grandmother, when she has an infection on her leg from diabetes, is not going to be able to recover quickly. It means that the abilities that we have to preserve life and to prolong our life with antibiotics will be lost or compromised.
That's why Minister Dayal Singh says the Chemistry, Food and Drug Division has been cracking down on pharmacies that irresponsibly distribute antibiotics to the population.
In Bermuda, a lawyer who stole more than $86,000 from her quadriplegic client has been imprisoned for 5 years. Nancy Vieira, 45, told the court she wished she had the opportunity to sit with her client to explain what had happened before she died, but she didn't. We have a report from Bermuda Broadcasting.
Former lawyer Nancy Vieira told puny Judge Juan Wolf today that she had lost everything she had worked for over the years and burdened her family with pain and negative attention. Vieira was found guilty in January of dishonestly obtaining a $50,000 money transfer from Kristen Badenduck, a paraplegic woman, between January and July of 2016. Ms. Badenduck was an insurance executive who met Vieira in 2015 and hired her to terminate a caregiver whom she suspected of stealing from her. Vieira was also convicted of stealing $28,615 from Ms. Badenduk by unauthorized ATM withdrawals and $7,601 in authorized debit card transactions in 2015. Ms. Badenduk passed away in 2019 prior to the case coming to trial late last year. Vieira told the court today she was humiliated and embarrassed. She also said she was sorry for betraying the trust of Ms. Badenduk. Justice Wolf said while he recognized Vieira's feelings of remorse, the defendant exploited her client's good nature and disorganized financial affairs. Throughout the 14-and-a-half-week trial, Vieira maintained her innocence. She told the court she had initially obtained a loan of $50,000 from Ms. Badenduk to secure a partnership in the law firm McClellan and Associates, where she was employed. In a victim impact statement, Jacqueline McClellan said she was shocked when she learned the money had been taken from Ms. Badenduk under false pretenses, and she had no interest in making Vieira a partner in the firm. Vieira was fired, but in December 2016, she delivered bank drafts for $25,000 and $15,000 to repay part of the loan to her former employer. Crown Counsel Nicole Smith told Mr. Justice Wolf that Bermuda must adopt a zero-tolerance approach to white-collar crime and restore the public's faith in the legal profession. Other victims and family members spoke of the pain and hurt Vieira had caused Ms. Badenduk. They called the wheelchair-bound woman a beautiful soul with a kind and loving spirit who wanted the best for all of us.
Pakistan Supreme Court has ruled the arrests of former Prime Minister Imran Khan to be illegal and ordered that he be immediately released 2 days after his detention on corruption allegations triggered violent protests. After the ruling on Thursday, violence around the country appeared to ease.
Khan had been detained earlier in the week, sparking days of protests by his supporters. He faces multiple charges, including corruption. Osama bin Javed reports from Islamabad.
The Supreme Court of Pakistan says that the detention of Imran Khan was illegal and unlawful because no citizen should be arrested from the premises of the court and sets a wrong precedent. But it has urged Imran Khan to appear before the Islamabad High Court as he's going to spend the night in the same guest house where he was taken by the National Accountability Bureau for his security and safety.
Let's take a look at sports. Kensington Oval is going green. The region's mecca is to have a fully functioning photovoltaic system installed on the roofs of the Peter Short Media Centre, the Hall and Griffith Stand, the Greenwich and Haynes Stand, 3W Stand, and the Mitchie Hewitt Stand by year-end. In an exclusive interview with CBC Sports, Chairman of Kensington Oval Management Inc., Damien Gaskin, said work has already started to upgrade the roofs of the structures to accommodate the panels. He has also indicated that the solar power generated will be sold back to the grid.
You should have somewhere above 700, 800 kilowatts, on the various structures. So that will save us significant dollars from an electricity perspective because that is a significant bill for us at the Oval. So that, but putting that system on will certainly reap immediate savings once you're connected to the grid. What we've done is we've taken a holistic approach. Anything that is corroded, purlined, bolts, etc. So we had a structural evaluation of the roofs and identified various areas. You would imagine the roof is over 15 years old. You would imagine some issues that needed to be addressed. Even the underlying structure required some changing out or refurbishing depending on the area. So yes, certainly meaningful investment.
Meanwhile, Kobe has already started planning for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup, which is scheduled to be played in June 2024 in the West Indies and the United States. Cricket West Indies is currently undertaking a bid to process for Caribbean countries wanting to host matches in the tournament, with the venues to be confirmed by July 31st of this year. Kensington Oval is expected to play a major part in the event, and therefore Comey is actively exploring adding temporary seating in the area called the Party Stand. Gaskin says the Oval has changed significantly since the World Cup final in 2007.
That were played in 2007, and so therefore there were no light towers. So now there's a light tower right there in the kind of southeast of the ground, the actual big screen. There was no permanent structure, and then there's also some other infrastructure changes that have happened over the years. So, what happened in 2007 cannot be exactly replicated, but we've reached out to the provider of those fans. We're exploring what it would cost as well as what the capacity would be should we have temporary stands, and whether it's a tiered stand, whether it's a stand now that is maybe hospitality or a mixture of both. Those things are currently being explored, but I think once allocations have been made for the various venues, then I think you'll be in a better position to truly assess the cost benefit of these temporary structures.
It's time now to take a quick look at how the weather is faring outside. The present barometric pressure is 1013.7 millibars, is 26.6 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity stands at 80%, and the winds are blowing out of the east at 17 kilometers per hour. Partly cloudy and slight hazy. That's how the present temperature is shaping up. Sea conditions smooth to moderate in open water, with swells peaking at 1.5 meters and increasing. Your tides for today: the first high tide will be at 8:47 and the first low will be at 2:41. It's going to be sunny with occasional cloudy periods today, and as we look to what's happening this evening, we can expect that it also will be partly cloudy. And that's weather. Our next newscast is at 12 noon, Newsday, and you can also tune in at 1 o'clock via our radio network of stations for The World at 1. Morning Barbados is next.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning.
It's Friday, May 12th. Already another Friday, so you know what we usually say. Thank God it's Friday. Good morning to you and welcome to another presentation of Morning Barbados. So good to have you in company on this fantastic Friday. There's so much going on. We are still celebrating our mothers as we look to Mother's Day on Sunday. I don't know what the big plans are, but we most certainly will continue telling you all about how we will be celebrating mothers here at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, and of course sharing with you because you are a part of our family. Now today we have lots planned for you. He's still the reigning monarch, Kwan. He is going to be here to share with us. He has some new music. Of course, Cropover is definitely in the air, and a lot of music is coming our way, so we want to keep Fridays fresh and continue to share what is happening on the scene with you. Most importantly, you need to know when new music comes out, so we will make sure we continue to share with you. Kwan is going to be here to share, like I told you, and we also have Nicole Collins, who is a marketing specialist with our Sales and Marketing Department here at CBC. She will be in to talk to you all about what's happening here at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. You know, we are the original Socoholics, so we will let you know exactly how we are leading the charge, home of all festivals, and we're going to make sure that you have a great season this time around. Also, today's International Day on Plant Health, and we are going to be speaking with Ian Griffith, who is Officer in Charge of Plant Quarantine in the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security. That's coming up in just a bit. We will be having a conversation with him. Plus, the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, they're having a heritage concert. We will most certainly tell you more about that and let you know how you can get involved. Lachey Drayton, the Marketing and Events Officer at the museum, will be here, as well as Elena Pinder, who's the Communications Coordinator at the museum. So they will share exactly what's happening as the museum partners with the Codrington Trust and the Barbados Police Service to host a two-part heritage concert series featuring the nation's police band. And that's always wonderful to have the Barbados Police Service Band performing for us. All right, we also have from the Division of Culture, Dr. Sharon Johnson and Senator John King spending some time with us this morning to tell us all about Africa Day, and there will be a hair and dress competition. So we will share more on that with you. Now, you know that May 25th marks Africa Day. It used to be called Africa Liberation Day, but there have been some changes. So we're going to have a candid discussion about that and tell you how we continue to celebrate during the season of emancipation. So don't you forget, that is exactly where we are, season of emancipation here in Barbados. And we celebrate all month long. Plus, we have some interesting stuff that's happening on social media to share with you. So, you know, that's in a nutshell what we have planned for you today on Morning Barbados. So lots to get through. So let's get this show on the road at 24 minutes before 7 o'clock. Let's welcome Ian Griffith, the Officer in Charge of Plant Quarantine, Ministry of Agriculture and Food and Nutritional Security. Good morning to you, Ian.
Yes, good morning to you and to all watching Morning Barbados today.
All right, so wonderful to have you with us. All right, so we often hear these titles, and you know, this is a pretty long title. I had to take a breath somewhere in the middle. So as Officer in Charge of Plant Quarantine, you know, it sounds like it's pretty straightforward, but I'm sure it's anything but for you. So first, tell us what your role is in that, under that title. What do you do as Officer in Charge of Plant Quarantine?
Okay, first let me say a special good morning to all of the plant quarantine staff and all of the staff of the plant protection unit. The plant quarantine unit is responsible for protecting Barbados from the entry of all foreign plant pests. And when I say foreign plant pests, I'm not only talking about insects, I'm talking about diseases, I'm talking about anything, invasive species, which will affect plants in Barbados. And it's not only the plants that we're looking at that it can affect. It can also affect the manufacturing sector. It can affect the agricultural sector. It can affect the plants around your home, your kitchen garden, and also the plants in our natural environment, in what we will call our indigenous plants. So the plants that you see when you're traveling through the country, any pest that comes in that can attack those plants, we have a responsibility to stop that from happening.
Well, it's definitely bigger than I thought, so I'm happy that I asked you to explain. So like you, I have to say thank you so much to those of you who continue to keep us safe. I remember a time in Barbados where you could travel and you could kind of bring back anything you wanted to. And bringing tales out of school, you know, families would come home with big bags of meats and all different types of fruit and exotic looking things. But those times have definitely changed, I would say, for the better.
They have. Actually, right now, it's the responsibility of every Barbadian, visitors, residents, to ensure that we protect these shores and we protect the plant resources of Barbados. Right? We are relatively fortunate in that we are self-sufficient in things like sweet potatoes but there are pests out there in the Caribbean and in the wider world that if they get into Barbados can affect sweet potatoes in our country. So you can imagine now we're going from a stage whereby sweet potatoes, you know, you can relatively get them almost any time of year. Imagine a pest coming to Barbados and affecting sweet potatoes at such a level that the production has declined, right? So you can imagine now you'll be paying a lot more for sweet potatoes than you pay now.
Wow. All right. So I know that the International Day of Plant Health really arose out of the International Year of Plant Health, which was celebrated in 2020. And the second year, you know, the day was observed and the UN had designated the 12th of May as the date to raise global awareness and, you know, take that action to keep plants healthy and help protect the environment and our biodiversity. So I know that the ministry is undertaking a number of activities over the next week in observance of this day. Talk to us about that.
Well, actually, we did that. We did those things this week. On Tuesday, we had plant clinics. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we had plant clinics at Easy Pave, Cardiff and Wildy, and Massey. Yesterday was Massey in Warrens, whereby we invited Barbadians to come to us where we are located and bring their pest problems that they see not only on their kitchen garden or their crops if you're a farmer, but also around their house on their ornamental plants. So we have people bringing things like not only things like beans and so on, but also brought azores and ginger lilies and so on for us to diagnose the particular problem that they were having and the remedy, or at least some way of rectifying that situation. So today today is basically Mornin Barbados. Yesterday was Talk Agriculture, and tomorrow there's going to be another plant clinic tomorrow from 12 to 3 at St. Augustine Church in Market Hill.
All right. Now, I did a program a few years ago with the ministry called Gel in Agriculture. And through that program, I learned so much about what the ministry does, even with not only farmers, but with people who are in regular people, residential homes and so on. So talk to us about what the response was like from people with this initiative, the ministry reaching out and saying, okay, we are going to give you some assistance in figuring out what's going on. I know with our agriculture program here on 100.7 FM, people are always very gung-ho about finding out more about their own plant health and finding out what's going on with the plants and so on when they see different pests and so on. So what was the response like so far this week?
The response was pretty good. You know, we would love to see a lot more people because we know that a lot of people don't recognize it, but you know, like I said, it's not only the kitchen gardens or if you're a farmer, saying that you see in your field, but it's also the plants that you have around your house that you consider to be your flowers and so on. And we would have loved to see a lot more people, but the response was pretty good. And the thing about the plant clinics is that we tend to hold them on a regular basis, right? So I would tell the agents to listen out for the next time we're going to hold. Well, like I said, we're going to hold one tomorrow for sure at St. Augustine's Church there in Market Hill, and to listen out for any other plant clinics that we're going to have in the coming months.
I know sometimes we think that only food crops are affected by pests, and we often talk about that. But for those of us who are, you know, who have ornamentals around the home, even sometimes lawn, and I was surprised to hear that sometimes even your lawn can be adversely affected by pests and different things like that. So, you know, what are some of the major issues that you're seeing at this time here in Barbados?
Well, yeah, like you said, right now it's the dry season. And you will find problems popping up every now and again, things like mealybugs, things like scale insects, problems on, people have been coming to us with problems on mangoes and so on. Some farmers tend to be pretty good when it comes to what they're seeing in their field. We met one yesterday and he was on top of things, which is very good. But the thing that really should concern us, apart from what we see here, is what can come into the island. And that's the most important thing, because I think you can remember when the African snail came into Barbados, you know, people were actually walking on snails. It was horrendous. And basically that is what happens when a new pest is introduced into a country. There's no natural predators for that pest. So that pest basically runs rampant. There's nothing to control it, and that pest runs rampant for that period of time.
You're absolutely right. People were even talking about eating them.
I would not recommend that. I would not recommend that. Right? I would not recommend that.
You didn't have to tell me that.
But the thing that I think most people need to realize is that 80% of the food that we eat come from plants. 80%, right? And 40% of that 80%, 40% is destroyed by plant pests. 40%. So
Wow.
you can, like I say, you can imagine there are a lot of pests in the Caribbean, and like I said, throughout the world, that we are constantly watching for because we cannot afford to let them get into this country. Barbados is right now on the cusp of developing agriculture on a larger scale. If pests come into the country, they can affect that development, not only for us living here in terms of the cost of food going up and so on, but also our ability to export. Because if we have a pest here and it's a new pest, we're not trying to control it, we're not trying to find out where it's located, how widespread it is. Countries that would normally take produce from us or that we would like to export produce to are going to put some conditions on us that are going to be very, I won't say difficult, but very challenging to follow, seeing that we have a new pest in the island. So that's why it's very important that I would tell Barbadians, if you are traveling, if you are returning to Barbados and you want to bring back in plants, seeds, any kind of growing material, any kind of fruit or veg, to call us and get permission to do that.
All right. Now, we've heard over the last few years especially, and through COVID, where there were supply chains that were disrupted, there was so much going on around the world. We saw the possibility of what could happen when there's no trade going on. And so the discussion about food security came up all over again in a really, really big way. So just remind us of how important it is to be observant of what's happening around us in relation to things like food security, even as we move toward, as you mentioned, growing more of our own food, how important it is to really pay attention to what's happening in that regard to ensure that we are able to secure our food, which you mentioned is a large percentage of our intake.
Yeah. Well, before I do that, let me give a shout out to my plant quarantine staff. They worked very hard throughout the COVID period. I think that you were aware that you were able to find fruits and vegetables on the shelves. That was my team ensuring that during that time, that the fruits and vegetables being imported into Barbados were free of pests. Now, as I said earlier, once you have a new pest coming into a country, it can affect your production. And like I said, and like I hinted to earlier also, it's not only crops that we grow in our fields or what we grow in our kitchen gardens, but it's actually also the manufacturing sector. There are manufacturers in Barbados that produce nuts, corn kernels, all those things are derived from plants. There's a particular pest that we're watching for right now called the Khapra beetle, Khapra, Khapra beetle. And that is one of the worst pests of stored products. So you can imagine if that comes into Barbados and that gets into one of these manufacturing companies, they are going to have problems trying to control it. And because of that, the price of that particular good or those particular goods that they produce might actually increase. So once a pest enters the country, the attempts that you make to control it, that costs money. That's going to be a burden on the taxpayers to some degree. The attempts that the person or the business takes to control that pest has to be passed on in the price of the product. Then you also have to look at the pest being so voracious sometimes that it can actually affect the amount of yield that you can get from various crops. And all that has an implication for food security. Because, like I said, right now we are self-sufficient in things like sweet potatoes. You can imagine now us, Barbados, having to import sweet potatoes on a wider scale to feed Barbadians. That will be a problem.
All right, I want to thank you for coming in. And again, thanks to you and all the others at the Ministry of Agriculture who do what you do every day. I know the level of work, like I said, from working with the Gel Agriculture Program. I know how much you put in every day to helping not only farmers but regular Barbadians and working toward food security, complete food security here in Barbados as well. So thank you, and I wish you best in the rest of the celebrations as we go through the weekend.
Thank you very much. You have a good day.
All right, Mr. Ian Griffith. All right, thank you so much. Now, we want you to remember International Day on Plant Health. That's what we're looking toward. The celebration is the May 12th. Always check to see what pest is affecting your plant before applying any control measure, especially when using pesticides. So never apply a pesticide without reading the label, since the application of the chemical at the incorrect rate or time could cause damage to the plant and may even kill it. That's your tip for today. And who knows, we might be moving forward with a few plant tips for you in future. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we're going to tell you about a concert series involving the museum and the Barbados Police Service. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
8 minutes to go before 7 o'clock. Now, the Codrington Trust is partnering with the Barbados Museum and the Barbados Police Service to host a two-part heritage concert series featuring the nation's police band. We have two wonderful people sharing with us this morning. They're up early and ready to go. Lachey Drayton and Elena Pinder, Marketing and Events Officer and Communications Coordinator, respectively, with the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. Good morning, ladies. Welcome.
Good morning.
All right, so there are two major celebrations coming up. The Barbados Police Service celebrates 134 years, and the Codrington Trust celebrates 275 years. So this is major in a number of ways. We'll start with you, Lachey. Talk to us about the significance of this concert, which is coming off on the 31st of May at this particular time. All right, we're gonna defer to Elena. I think your mic is off, Lachey. So Elena, you pick up.
Hear me? Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, the
so
concert.
talk to us about the significance of having the concert at this particular time.
Okay, so the Barbados Museum is actually celebrating its 90th anniversary this month, and we've decided to partner with two other culturally rich entities, which is the Codrington Trust, as well as the Barbados Police Service, to put on a heritage concert. The police band will be featured for the night, and they will actually be playing classical music. It's very important for us because 90 years is a long time for the Barbados Museum, and we're doing this concert as a fundraiser for the preservation and the restoration of all three entities. So we really will want persons to come out and celebrate with us.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's always great to see that we can kind of partner with different entities. And when you say that the rich heritage of all three will be celebrated, you know, absolutely, I believe that based on what will be shared. All right, so let's talk to you, Elena. So tell us all about how things will unfold with this particular concert. It's always a good time at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. Just being in that space, you're able to enjoy what the museum has to offer as well. So talk to us about the actual event itself.
Okay, well, first of all, the event is happening on Sunday, May 21st. Start time is 6 p.m. And as you rightly mentioned, everything is going to be happening here at the Barbados Museum. The concert itself will be held in the Wall Garden Theatre, and that is our outdoor covered space. So you get a little bit of both worlds. You get to be outdoors. We also get to be in a covered space as well. Tickets are $75, and food and drink will be on sale. In addition to that, we also have vendors selling their locally made products. So really and truly, it is a great family outing. So you can bring, you know, your friends, your kids, whoever, come and listen to some nice music. A perfect way to wind down after a long or short weekend, depending on how you look at it. So you come, you listen to music, you get your food, your drinks, you relax, you have fun. It's really going to be a great time for everybody. As Lishay would have mentioned, we are playing classical music. So, you know, if you are familiar with sounds like the sound of music, tracks like that, it will be a good time and a good opportunity to come out and listen to our local Barbados police band.
Oh, that's wonderful. I want to dig a little deeper with you, Lishay, if you can, and tell me about, you know, the thinking behind this particular event. I would imagine that, you know, once you sat down to plan, you thought about, okay, what's coming up? And who better to know about all of these various entities, what they bring to the table, how long they've been around, than the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. You know, what are you hoping to bring through when you put this event on with the Barbados Police Service celebrating, you know, 134 years, of course, the Codrington Trust, 275, and you at the museum celebrating 90, as you told us. You know, what are you hoping to bring through this concert?
Well, we really want some exposure. It's not only about on the night, but we really want exposure for all three entities. We would like persons to, you know, get to know us a little better. There are a lot of people, usually when people come to the Barbados Museum, they usually say, I haven't been here for a long time. So this is person's opportunity to come to the museum and see what we have on store. We will have some of our galleries open, so persons will have the opportunity to have a sneak peek into some of our galleries. Our next event is actually going to be at Codrington College, so persons will have the opportunity to go on their grounds and explore what they have to offer, and that will be in September as well. But usually we see the police band playing various types of music. We are very excited to present them playing something completely, you know, different, something you may not be accustomed of them doing. So for us, it's like brand exposure, getting to know these entities a little more.
All right, Elena, I know that you have quite a few box offices where people can head on out and get their tickets, so you can go ahead and share that with us.
Okay, so as I said earlier, tickets are $75 and they will be available at all of the partner locations. So from us here at the Barbados Museum, located in the Garrison, you can also go to Codrington College as well as the Barbados Police Band. Now, if you are not, if you don't want to leave home, you can also purchase stuff online, tickets online at TicketPal.com, and you can also visit their TicketPal locations, which is like all Lucky Horseshoe outlets, Abbeville, Rockley, Emerald City, Six Roads, Carlton, Blackrock, as well as Digicel, Sky Mall, the Smart Store in Lime Grove and Welches. So all of these places you can go, you can purchase your tickets, and if you need any additional information, any additional help, please feel free to contact us. The telephone number is 538-0201, or you can send us an email at info@barbmuse.org.bb, and we'd be happy to assist.
Oh, wonderful. I know, Lachey, you guys work there, and sometimes when you work in a place, you know, you're so accustomed to seeing things that you're not as amazed as other people who come through to see it. You mentioned some of the galleries will be open. What are some of the spaces that people definitely should check out once they come to the concert on the 31st?
Well, Tisha, I would say they need to check out all of our spaces. You can learn something exciting in all of our galleries. But what I would say is we do have a new children's gallery. It's our newest gallery. It's an interactive gallery for the children, but you will be amazed at how much adults like it. There also everything is touch, hearing, playing. It's a lot of fun. A lot of noise. The children generally don't like to leave, so, and a lot of people haven't experienced it as yet, so people can come out and actually view our children's gallery. You may want to come back and bring your child after you've experienced it. We'll also have our art gallery open, which is our Cunard gallery, where you can come and see some of our illustrious paintings that we have on display. We'll also have our military gallery open on the night of the event, and also our Warmington gallery, so persons can take in a little bit of how houses used to look back in the day. So you get to see a bedroom, you'll get to see the dining room, the exquisite china, those kind of things will be on display in those galleries.
All right, so again, this is a two-part series. So one is on the 21st, the other is on the 31st. Yes?
No, sorry, Tisha. The other one is in September on the 24th, and that will be at Codrington College.
Okay, so it's which date is it? Because I'm seeing two dates, unfortunately.
Okay, so it's actually on the 21st.
Pardon?
Sorry, the concert is on the 21st.
The 21st.
The 31st of May is actually the celebration of the museum's 90th anniversary. So the concert is actually going to kick off those celebrations. The celebrations will go on for an entire year because it is 90 years and we are very excited. You know, it's a real milestone for us here at the Barbados Museum. So to commemorate this, we are having year-long celebrations which kick off with the concert, which is held on the 21st of May at 6 p.m.
All right, so that's next Sunday.
Yes.
Just to be clear. All right. Just want to make sure that we got that right. And then, of course, you know, so we have that on the 21st. It's being held under the patronage of Sir Trevor Carmichael. So that is quite significant as well.
Yes, we're happy to have the president of the Barbados Museum, Sir Trevor, being the patron of the event. He has been with the museum for 34 years. So we are very, very happy that he has agreed to be the patron for our event.
All right, I want to thank you ladies for sharing with us. Again, it's the 21st, 6 o'clock in the evening at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. It's always a good time to be there. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people who will be saying, I've not been in some time. So I have to make some time to come once again, but it's always a great time to be had, and I always see something new and exciting. I've actually not seen the children's installation as yet, so I will make it my mission to come so that I can see that and enjoy the concert as well. Always a wonderful time with the Barbados Police Service and the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. Thank you, Lachey Drayton and Elena Pinder, for sharing with us.
Okay, thank you, Tisha.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right, good stuff. So we're giving you so many things to do, so many things to get to that you really, you know, they're significant. So you can bring the little ones out. It's a family type event. You don't have to worry about, you know, getting babysitters or what have you. Give them a good lesson in Barbados history. Teach them something new. It's important. So head out on the 21st to the Walled Garden Theatre at the Barbados Museum. We're going to update you on news in just a bit. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Max Pack Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for a new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department.
Morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Time for an update of the news. The recent controversial extradition of a Trinidadian from Barbados is heading to the law courts. Attorneys for Brent Thomas are preparing for legal action against the Barbados Police Service and the Attorney General. Junior Counsel Devesh Maharaj confirmed the development to CBC News in a telephone interview from Trinidad last evening. He says they've contacted a Barbadian attorney but declined to reveal the person's identity until certain matters have been finalized. According to Mr. Maharaj, those preliminary conversations included how they will proceed with the matter. Currently, they're exploring bringing a constitutional law case. Based on the discussions with local counsel, Mr. Maharaj believes in short order they should, on behalf of Mr. Thomas, be taking the first steps toward filing a legal motion. His comment comes 2 days after Barbados Attorney General Dale Marshall, in a ministerial statement, admitted that the actions of the Barbados Police Service fell somewhat short of the applicable legal norms. Trinidad's Attorney General Reginald Amor, also delivering a ministerial statement, indicated that the return of Mr. Thomas from Barbados to Trinidad was unlawful. Now, the newly appointed president of the Barbados Road Safety Association is appealing for the driver in a reported hit and run to come forward. The incident involves the daughter of popular entertainer Mardsville. 18-year-old Akia John McQuilkin was the passenger in a vehicle traveling along Brighton in St. George on Monday night when it was involved in a collision with another vehicle. She had to be extracted from the wreck by fire officials using the jaws of life. In a social media post, the entertainer said the accident has left the teenager hospitalized with neck fractures. The family is awaiting word on whether she will be undergoing surgery. Speaking during a media conference, Roland Lowe called on the driver of the other vehicle who left the scene to turn themselves in.
And I'm a father too. And when I saw it, it hurt me. It really did. Because you have a situation where somebody's child has been involved in an accident. You collided with a person, and you had it in your mind to just drive off before even stopping to check to see the state of that person. I spoke to him and I asked him about if I could buy like this morning. He gave me permission to speak on it. And I just want to use my remaining time to implore the person who was involved in that to come forward. I understand you might have been in shock, you might have been scared, but it's a person's life that we're talking about.
Now, according to an eyewitness, the other vehicle involved in the hit and run was a blue truck. The Barbados Road Safety Association has a new executive committee for the second time in a matter of weeks. This after the results of the March 2023 election were ruled null and void. The new executive was introduced during a media conference at Cooperators General Insurance in Colomorock, St. Michael. Former President and Executive Director Charmaine Roland Bowen said the members were appointed after several breaches in the lead-up to the election were discovered.
Acting within their granted powers, declare the election to be null and void and of no effect. In accordance to Article 7(2) of our Constitution, which outlines the procedures for filling vacancies on the Executive Committee, the Executive Director is authorized to appoint suitably qualified individuals to fulfill those positions until the next annual AGM is called, which would be 2024.
Now, when pressed to elaborate on the alleged breaches, Ms. Roland Bowen acknowledged there had been some controversy within the organization. Only on Monday, she released a letter stating that the man who had been elected president in March had been terminated and was no longer affiliated with the association. The newly appointed public relations officer, Erskine Cumberbatch, said the voting process was not done in accordance with the BRSA's constitution. Now we're going to take a brief look at what's happening sports-wise. Kensington Oval is going green. The region's mecca is to have a fully functioning photovoltaic system installed on the roofs of the Peter Short Media Centre, the Hall and Griffith stand, the Greenwich and Haynes stand, 3W stand, and the Mitchie Hewitt stand by year-end. In an exclusive interview with CBC Sports, Chairman of Kensington Oval Management Inc., or COMI, Damien Gaskin, said work has already started to upgrade the roofs and the structures to accommodate the panels. He has also indicated that the solar power generated will be sold back to the grid.
We should have somewhere above 700, 800 kilowatts, on the various structures. So that will save us significant dollars from an electricity perspective, because that is a significant bill for us at the Oval. So that, but putting that system on will certainly reap immediate savings once you're connected to the grid. What we've done is we've taken a holistic approach. Anything that is corroded, the purlines, bolts, etc. So we had a structural evaluation of the roofs and identified various areas. You would imagine the roof is over 15 years old. You would imagine some issues that needed to be addressed. Even the underlying structure required some changing out or refurbishing, depending on the area. So, yes, certainly meaningful investment.
Meanwhile, COMI has already started planning for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup, which is scheduled to be played in June 2024 in the West Indies and the United States. That's our update of news on this Friday, 12 noon. We have Newsday coming your way here on CBC TV 8, and you can tune into our services on our radio stations, 100.7 FM, 94.7 FM, and 98.1 The One for the world at 1. Morning Barbados continues after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
The Big Bajan Bake Off is back, and the top 5 have been selected. Tune in Fridays at 8:03 p.m. to find out who will be crowned the best Bajan baker.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. and together we will travel the world.
All right, so it's 7:14. Somebody told me it's Casual Friday. I obviously didn't get the memo because we have the reigning Calypso monarch Kwan in the house, and he's dressed to the nines, putting me to shame. Good morning, Kwan.
Good morning, Tisha. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's always so good to see you.
Definitely. It's a pleasure.
All right, how does it feel having come through the junior monarch and transitioned into, you know, the competition with some of the greats, the older people who've been a part of soca music for so long, and then to be able to grab a title so early on? How does that make you feel?
It feels great. Seeing, you know, the progress that I would have made about, what, 5-6 years ago. I perhaps never thought that, you know, this would be the outcome, but it just shows that you just have to continue working and, you know, trust in the process. I always had a love for Calypso and singing and being on stage and, you know, just entertaining. So from small, I would just be in the house and I'm practicing. And even when I didn't make it into the junior monarch competition, although I felt a little dejected, just continued going the next year, and, you know, eventually it pays off. So it feels great to know that this is where I'm at. Obviously, there's still a long road ahead, and I'm looking forward to the future.
All right, what was the support system like for you? I know that's very important for any young person, but most certainly if you're involved in competition, you need a really strong support system. So talk to us about your support system.
Certainly, and I often watch about the video from finals a lot, and I remember, you know, seeing a lot of my family members in the crowd, and they're not just sitting and clapping at the end of the performance. You know, they're up during the performance and they're dancing, and for me that motivates me, and I'm really appreciative for that. You know, my mom has always been, I like to say, my backbone. You know, she has kept me solid throughout the years, and yeah, so I can't say that I'm short of a support system.
I'm always interested to find out what's going through your head on competition night, big competition night. It's one thing to hear you've made it to the semis, and then on semis night you're like, all right, I have to perform. Now you are in the finals, and finals night is here. What's going through your head, you know, on that night as you're preparing to hit the big stage?
Yeah, apart from trying to remain calm and focused, I sometimes tend to think about the fact that I'm literally here. Like, this is the night, and I remember last year, I thought to myself, I used to sit down and watch YouTube videos about this, and now I'm actually here, you know, about to get that opportunity to hit that pick of the crop stage. So for me, it was just about remaining rooted and remembering the process and just executing on the night.
Who are some of the people you look up to? I know that it's often difficult to talk about the people you emulate, but, you know, there must be some stalwarts out there that you've seen through those years, that you've been looking at them online and on TV8, of course.
Certainly.
You know, that you've kind of fashioned yourself after or aspired to be like.
Well, certainly I always tend to tell a lot of people that IWeb has been a mentor for me and an idol within the Calypso arena. I think that IWeb stage performances, the way he crafts a song, is absolutely out of this world. And for me, that's the mark of an excellent Calypsonian. So whenever I hit the stage, I always try to remember how IWeb performs in terms of his stage presence and the way he delivers his song, and I tend to, you know, gauge my performance off of that. Red Plastic Bag has also been obviously one of the stalwarts within the Calypso arena, and the way that Bag, he's a lyricist. I mean, it's plain and simple as that, and for me that definitely is the level that I want to get to.
All right, there must be tremendous pressure for you because you're back this year as the reigning monarch. You're defending the crown?
Certainly.
All right, certainly, he says. But you've come today with some new music. So what has the process been like over the last year? Just, I would imagine, carrying this crown on your shoulder.
Well, obviously it's a standard, and it's a standard that you always have to keep every day. You go somewhere, and, you know, people know you, and up to yesterday I was in town on my way to work, and you know, about 2 or 3 people as I pass. You ready? You ready? You know, and that's something that's been echoing, and you know, it's you have to think about it because are you really ready, right? And you also have to think about the fact that there's a possibility you don't win again, and what happens? You just continue going. But there's obviously a huge expectation, and for me, it's just about preparing, doing my best, going out there and executing, and being happy at the end of it.
You have a busy weekend coming up. I know you've been busy for quite some time, so you're performing with Mom This One's For You.
Definitely, Mom This One's For You.
And that's going to be at LESC. You're also performing at the finals of Beige to the World. You have to say it with all 3. I mean,
Beige to the World, that's right.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I'm
you know,
looking
how are
forward
you
to
balancing everything, getting into the studio to be prepared to defend that crown? And then, of course, you know, with all of these performances, you're heavily requested.
Yeah, so as it relates to the Calypso side, I recently received the song actually, so I'm just preparing and practicing at home. We haven't actually gotten into the studio with that as yet, but today I'm releasing my new soca single for Cropover 2023, and that's called Rock With Me, written by Shaft and produced by the Red Boys. So I'm performing that at Beige to the World and Mom This One's For You, along with my Calypso song, Animal Kingdom.
Those are some big names. A song from Shaft, produced by the Red Boys. It means a great deal.
Definitely.
So I have no doubt that you'll represent for it, and our viewers can hear a bit of it in the background. Take me back to 2020 now, because I know for musicians and for creators at large, that was a pretty special time, let me call it that. For a lot of people, you know, they were able to do a lot of introspection. They went inside. The creativity shone through. For other people who need that sense of connectivity, it was a dark period. What was it for you?
I think during that COVID period, I always tend to look back and say I wish I had done a bit more as it relates to taking hold of producing more music or making more music throughout that period. And I remember in 2019, I was actually getting a song from Shaft, and the Late Blacks did it now, and that song is called Mash Up, and that's a big song now. And I tend, when COVID hit, it was like, damn, I don't know if I should do this song then, because we don't really know where it's gonna go. But I wish I had taken that song. That's a regret that I have, because you know it's a very good song. But you know, I'm grateful for COVID and what it did. And it gave me the time to just stay at home and relax and think about where I want to take my music, and we saw it in 2022 where it paid off in the pick of the crop. So you know, I'm just taking it one step at a time.
All right, good stuff. Final question: where do you see yourself going in this soca arena?
Well, as I said, taking it one step at a time. I'm just trying to enjoy it. I think that we Barbadians, we aren't hitting that Trinidad level. Let's put it at that. I think that Trinidad, for example, it's dominating the market as it relates to soca and being international. So I think that we need more artists who are producing for an international market, and that's something that you know I aim to do.
The young king has spoken, and he's going to perform next. So stay with us. Good stuff, Juan.
remedy, baby. So just turn it around and give me. Walk with me, girl, come walk with me, baby. Jump with me, come and join me, baby. You got the righteous remedy. Oh gosh, girl. Now the taste and up everybody nice. Drinks flowing like river Nile. So let me put down the work like walkie-walkie. Hands bang your knees, girl, flirty, flirty. You open up the appetite. So I'm gonna be here for a while. So when you're ready, start to bring your waist back for me, yeah. You got me feeling super high. Never realize like a bubble and put that wine on me so sweet, yeah. I thought you were shy and I shy now. The way you bend over, one shot, don't stop. Just turn it around and give it. Walk with me, girl, come walk with me, baby. Jump with me, come and join me, yeah, baby. You got the righteous remedy, baby. So just turn it around and give me. Walk with me, girl, come walk with me, baby. Jump with me, come and join me, yeah, baby. You got the righteous remedy. Oh gosh, girl, you can never do no wrong, no wrong. We got the perfect chemistry. It's like when you close your eyes to your favorite song. Promise not to keep you long, too long. Call the way how you bend over. One shot, don't stop. Just turn it around and give me. Walk with me, girl, come walk with me, baby. Jump with me, come and join me, yeah, baby. You got the righteous remedy, baby. So just turn it around and give me. Walk with me, girl, come walk with me, baby. Jump with me, come and join me, yeah, baby. You got the righteous remedy, yeah. Turn it around and give me. Walk with me, girl, come walk with me, baby. Jump with me, come and join me, yeah, baby. You got the righteous remedy, baby. Just turn it around and give me. Walk with me, girl, come walk with me, baby. Jump with me, come and join me, yeah.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at Mornin Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7:29 on this fantastic Friday. Good to have you with us. All right, so we're looking toward a big celebration. May 25th marks Africa Day around the world. It was formerly known as Africa Liberation Day. And we've invited a few wonderful people, familiar faces, to come on through and talk about all the Division of Youth will be doing in observance of Africa Day. There's going to be a hair and dress competition. Sounds like something for me. So let's say good morning and welcome to Senator John King and Dr. Sharon Johnson, who's division with the Division of Culture. They're going to share with us now. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
We are great.
All right, always great to see you. I see Senator King a little bit more than I see you, so forgive me if I pay you more attention.
It's fine, it's fine. It's good.
All right, so talk to us about the observance and all that's planned for the big day.
Okay, I'll tell you later if you don't mind, Senator. But it's our pleasure to be here with the CBC team to launch these two competitions. They're two online competitions open to all Barbadians, male and female. it's two competitions that we're very excited about: the Africa Day Heritage Competition and the Africa Day Best Dress and Design Competition. And if I'll talk about the Heritage Competition, it's a celebration of diversity and cultural heritage. And the goal is really to provide a platform for persons to embrace and showcase their cultural heritage, and also to promote diversity and inclusivity. And you know, we've just had our reigning Calypso king, and I was watching his hair, and Barbadians have embraced their African heritage, you know, like something else. I see more and more Barbadians with the hair and the African attire throughout the season of emancipation, and we have decided, look, we're going to do this Africa Day competition again. We did it the year before, and we're going to go with it with a bang this year. So the hair competition, it's open to. I'll tell you something about the age group for the hair competition: from 12 to 17 and 18 years and over. We have wonderful prizes: best male, first, second, and third prize; best female, first, second, and third prize, and some wonderful prizes to be won. Persons can submit. It's online again. Persons can submit photos through the there is an email address that we'll give to you. They can submit their email, their photos through that email address. It is seasonofemancipation@gmail.com. We'll give that again: seasonofemancipation@gmail.com on May 25th. You have between the hours of 6 to 6. So you submit that. All of the information will be on our Facebook page with their contact information and their IG handle. So that is the hair competition. The other competition, the best dress competition, we want to showcase again people to showcase their creativity and love of African fashion and design. And we're really pushing this to support small businesses, those needle workers and designers and communities. When we did this year before, we were amazed at the level of creativity we had coming to the fore. These small micro businesses and designers had some wonderful designs coming out. We know people will also purchase things, but our support is really, we're really going to give a little nudge to those that homegrown talent and to design those wonderful creations. So,
right, that's wonderful. Before we move on, I want to bring Senator King in on the discussion before he feels like he can just relax over there. I know
he's not going to relax, no.
Yeah. I know that it is very important to the Division of Culture to be able to, put forward competitions like these ones as we continue through the season of emancipation and celebrate these, these various days that kind of pop up across the season of emancipation. And it's as if, this was meant to be. I mean, as you look across the season of emancipation, there are so many observances that tie in with the entire season that help us to really reflect on our culture and our heritage, like these competitions, Senator King.
Totally agree with you. And if I may just say something on the heritage competition in particular. We in the Caribbean, persons of African descent, have had for a very long time rules and regulations about how we should wear our hair. Ideas about what is good hair as opposed to what is nappy bad hair, the type of hairstyles. Remember, the Rastafarian community had held across the Caribbean for locks. And so all of this is part and parcel of us being able to break those mental shackles that were carefully planted on us and begin to liberate ourselves during this season of emancipation and find worth, value, and pleasure in being who we are and accepting ourselves for what God has made us to be. So here is very important in terms of still dealing with some of the residue left over from slavery and colonialism in the terms of how we view ourselves.
This is true, and in the move toward that, I think it's important to embrace our versatility as well, because don't discount me from the heritage competition, because once I go in the shower, I can bring back my big puff. You know, don't let it blow out. Don't let it blow out for you.
Exactly,
right?
and I agree with you, Tisha. I really want to encourage our people, you know, to experiment with different things with the hair. You have a wonderful gift that God has given you in the type of hair that you have. And you should, you know, when you look at how sometimes the ladies have these wonderful twists and knots and all of these different things that in the past people used to refer to as hard hair and all this kind of craziness. Now we're in a time where we are embracing ourselves. And I want to encourage our women in particular, and men also, but women in particular, you know, to see their natural hair as part of the beauty that they have.
Absolutely. Yes. As we move to Dr. Johnson, I know you can attest to this. I, as a little girl, we these days know how to take care of our hair a whole lot. I think a whole lot better than our parents did.
That's right.
You know, so I think that's a big part of it too, a big part of how we're able to embrace our hair and move forward with it. But we come in all shades and all colors and with different types of hair. And that's just who we are. Right. That's how versatile we are. So I'm happy to see that we are moving forward and embracing with this. I love the name, the Heritage Competition.
That's right.
And then, of course, the clothes. You were telling us more about the clothing competition that really is meant to kind of reel in and showcase some of the work of some of the smaller designers.
Yes, I mean, right now we have Queen Charlotte on Netflix, and South Africa has embraced that series by holding a homage to that in the form of a tea party, and their designers have embraced that, and they had a whole homage to that. I mean, when I look around Barbados, I'm seeing more people embracing their African heritage in terms of dress. People in offices, people are getting more involved in that, and that is something that we can also explore more. And I'm seeing more African fabrics, more designers getting involved in it. So that is an area we can tap into. And in our ministry, we are, as we tap in and go into our links with Ghana and Kenya and the African continent. You can't have links with Africa without tapping into the cultural aspects. And this is part of reaching out and learning about the African continent, and culture is the way to do that.
Senator John, you've been able throughout your career to reach out and tap into this music, not only through in later years, you know, your role as a minister of government, as senator, but also in the capacity as, you know, a calypsonian, a musician. You know, what has this meant to you through the years to be able to share in this regard? Because, you know, your music has been versatile and it has showcased at times this heritage as well.
It means the world to me. I mean, when you think about it, at 11 years old, when I remember distinctly being at law school and people trying to teach me about King Harold and the War of the Roses and stuff like that. For some unknown reason, I found myself at home digging into encyclopedias and different things that were in my house and reading about Africa and being intrigued about this whole thing, trying to understand, I guess, a bit about myself, you know, having been exposed to some of the ravages of racism and other things in England. You begin to wonder, you know, like, why is it that people treat you a certain way? Why do they have these thoughts about you not being able to achieve this and all these sort of things? And I think that from a very early age pushed me in that type of a direction. And so to be where I am now, having just celebrated a birthday yesterday, to see how far we have come as a country, man, I couldn't ask for anything more. And I want to encourage our younger people in particular to begin to the process of decolonizing their minds and beginning to open up themselves, and not just to Africa, but to be global citizens, as you would always hear the Prime Minister talk about. But it first starts with us being able to accept ourselves and our qualities and our characteristics as having value and as being part of who we are, and then being able to take those things and share them with other cultures and other people, and then understand different ways of doing things. And so this season of emancipation is really wider than the conversations that we have had and will continue about decolonizing ourselves from colonialism and all the other things. But then there's some attitudes which have nothing to do with colonialism at all that we still have within our society that we need to separate ourselves and liberate ourselves from. And so I want people to this season of emancipation in a much wider form, so that once you're liberating yourself from certain things, you must also be able to open up yourself to learning more about your fellow Barbadians who may not be of African descent, making new friends, trying new things, having that total experience, so that this 166 square miles becomes, in my mind, a model that the rest of the world will want to follow.
All right, that's wonderful. All right, so let's get back to the competitions and share once again with the viewers how they can get involved. You know, seem very, very exciting. And I know there are a lot of not only like what we will call mainstream hairdressers or people who have, you know, salons and things like that. There are a lot of very, very talented hair braiders and people who really can do hair really well all across Barbados. Sometimes when I see the styles, I'm like, wow, such creativity.
Yes. Yes. What I might say is that we have a range of exciting prizes to be won. All local prizes. We're not offering any money, but some exciting prizes. Tours to some of Barbados's best heritage attractions. Fashion accessories by some of Barbados's best and brightest designers. And freshest designers. We've had products by Azure. Fashion accessories by Raj Paul, shirts by some of our best designers, candles by Native. There's a family prize for the best family group, the best office group. I must say Foreign Affairs year before, yes, Foreign Affairs year before won the best office group. And for the best family group, for example, there is a special, you'll be special guests at the Department of Archives to trace your family ancestry. So these are just but a tidbit of some of the exciting prizes to be won. A full range of prizes. We made sure that the prizes are all tied to some aspect of heritage to get persons also to explore another side of their ancestry, their heritage, to do things that are different in a different way. So we are also in this way supporting the Barbadian cultural sector and promoting the heritage economy as well. So for persons who want to be involved in this, submissions are to be emailed to the seasonofemancipation@gmail.com between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. on May 25th with the relevant contact information and ID handle. And winners will be advised that their photos will be used for promotional purposes, and all images will be posted on our IG page and the Division of Culture's Facebook page. And persons can call in to the Division of Culture for additional information. And my number is 535-5858.
All right, Senator John, Senator King.
Yes, ma'am.
I've grown so accustomed calling you Senator John.
Senator John.
Senator King, final word for you.
Yes, I really want to encourage all Barbadians to find some way to be involved in the season of emancipation. I know where a lot of the conversations have been centered around for quite some time, but I always say to people, just take a look at me. I am Irish and also African, and I have roots in different areas, like so many other people on the island. But we are all Barbadians at the end of the day. And my rallying call for everyone is to get involved in the season of emancipation. And as I've said before, and I'm going to keep nailing this particular point, the season of emancipation is more than about slavery. It is more than about colonization. It is about us being able to also free ourselves from the negativity and the other things that we don't need, but to improve and to be able to embrace each other first as human beings and as Barbadian, as a big Barbadian family. So get out there, get involved. There's something for everybody. And I look forward to seeing persons of non-African descent in the hair competition, in the clothing competitions, and the various things that are out there. That's how we learn about each other. That's how we embrace each other. And that's how we build a bigger and better society.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Senator King. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. We could have talked all day, but we can't.
Yes. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Have a fantastic day, and we most certainly will continue to share, and we look forward to sharing those photos as well. I know there are a couple of people here in CBC who are usually bedecked in their glory with their clothes. Yes. So we are coming for you, Foreign Affairs. All right?
Yeah, please do. Bring it. Bring it. We expect CBC to be there. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye. All right. So make sure you get your office spaces together, your families together, and get those hairstyles going. I'm already thinking of a braided style that I think I would absolutely love. I'm going to enter the competition for sure, and get yourselves together for the designers who want to get their fashions out there. Hey, coming up, we are telling you all about Cropover 2023. We are the home of all festivals, and we are the original Socoholics. We're going to tell you how we are setting the tone for the festival with Nicole Collins of our marketing department when Morning Barbados returns.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customer.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Just about 11 minutes to go in this Friday edition of Morning Barbados. So I have a good colleague joining me, Nicole Collins. She's here to talk to us all about the big celebrations as we get ready for Cropover. Not get ready, because I mean, it's here. Yes. We already are in that mode. If you listen to our radio stations, you would know we are in go mode for 2023.
Definitely. Good morning, Tisha. Good morning, Barbados. Cropover mode has been activated at CBC. We are the home of all festivals, and as you know, we have launched out on May 2nd all of our radio stations 100% Bajan, 100% soca, I should say. So we're ready to go full steam ahead for Cropover 2023.
Wonderful. There's some great events coming up as well, and we've become well known for putting on some good events too. Starting with the 98.1 The One Barbados Lottery pop-up party. Let's talk about that.
So the first of 5 is tonight. Tonight. Today is Friday, and we are headed to the Flash Zone Bar, 7 p.m. until midnight. Soca Camden, wall-to-wall soca, 98.1 to 1 DJs, always a vibe, definitely festival ready. And we're inviting everyone to come out, the young and the young at heart.
All right, so these pop-up parties, they start tonight at Flash Zone, but the good thing about it is, true to form, they're pop-ups. So they're going to different locations every single week. And I would imagine it's really meant to build some Cropover spirit and feel and introduce the music to everybody.
Definitely. So we are moving around for the next 5 Fridays. If you stay tuned to 98.1 to 1, you will definitely get information on where we will be each Friday. But tonight, if you haven't made plans for Friday night, definitely the 98.1 to 1 Barbados Lottery pop-up at Flash Zone Bar is where you should be.
All right, good stuff. We also have something that will intrigue a lot of Barbadians, something called South and Soca.
Yes, South and Soca. Barbadians love South, Barbadians love Soca, and we are going to be on the hunt for the best South location.
You don't have to look any further. I already know where the best South is in Barbados, so you can just ask me.
Okay.
And I can tell you.
I'll ask you after the show. So KB Clean, he will be on the hunt every Saturday starting May 20th at different locations, bringing the South, telling you about the South, bringing you the soca, and this one is going to be attached to Q100.7 FM. There will also be live broadcasts for that promotion as well. So you can, if you can't make it out, you can still tune in to hear Taking the Vibe.
Oh, I love that. We're also doing some soca karaoke. There are a lot of us who love soca through the years, but not quite, you know, they're the singers as yet. So that's where karaoke comes in for us. So talk to me about the soca karaoke.
Yes, so soca karaoke, 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience. Of course, you know, that is our 100% Bajan content station. And starting May 24th, that's a Wednesday, and every Wednesday for I think it's about 5 Wednesdays, we'll be heading to different locations. We know that Barbadians can sing those other songs, international songs with karaoke, but we want to challenge them to sing soca songs for karaoke. So we want to see who will be the top soca karaoke singer.
Can CBC staff enter?
You can enter, but you may not be judged.
All right, so all of these things are happening in the month of May.
Yes.
The South and Karaoke starts on Saturday, May 20th, and we'll be moving around to different locations. I definitely will be following that in tow. I'll be there. The Soca Karaoke is every Wednesday from May 24th.
Yes.
Yeah, how do we take part?
Well, you will stay tuned to 94.7 FM to hear the locations that we will be. You turn up at the location, you sign up, and you sing, you deliver.
Voila. And then, of course, there's the 98.1 The One Lottery Bus Crawl.
Yes.
That is, you know, bus crawls are back. And, you know, I must say, we have to claim it.
There's nothing like a bus crawl.
Hello. I was going to say it, but one step further, the Socoholic started the bus crawls.
Definitely.
With the Socoholic party bus.
Definitely.
Let's not forget it.
And you were Socoholic, Susie, so you're speaking from experience. You know, you champion that. You champion the Socoholics brand. So you are aware of how strong the Socoholics brand is and the activities and the response that we get from the Barbadian public when we activate Cropover.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hey.
So let's talk about the bus crawl. With Monday. Yes. Tickets are $50 available here at CBC. We're going to take a trip around Barbados. But then it gets better. We come back to CBC for the after party. So we party well.
Well, that sounds like a traditional socoholics party.
Definitely.
Because we definitely have the party, and then we have the party after the party.
And sometimes the party after the party,
So it's wonderful to see that we have so much going on to really set the tone for what's coming up for Cropover.
Yes.
I know with the radio stations, they're already in that mode. 100.7, 94.7, and 98.1 FM.
Yes.
They're all on board. But we want to reinforce that you're coming out tonight. And Flash Zone is always a wonderful time to be had.
Always a vibe. The patrons at Flash Zone know how to have a wonderful time this year. They really do. And we know the Socatholics, we know the CBC family, our followers, they will definitely, our 98.1 The One DJs are geared up and ready to play wall-to-wall soca for all of our patrons. And I want to use this opportunity. We've heard that the Barbados Lottery has teamed up with us. These events are obviously in opportunities for corporate Barbados to come on board. Definitely, we deliver audience. So this is an opportunity for you to get on board with the different Cropover packages that we have. Call us and let's see what we can do.
Yeah, and speaking of getting on board, there's something for everyone when it comes to CBC. That's what I really love and enjoy about what we offer. So if you want to hear, some more hardcore Calypso, and you're that person, then you can catch Admiral and Jaquila and Kimberly, on Q100.7 FM, delivering that Calypso music.
Definitely.
So they're going to play that throughout the festival.
Give you the stories, because I think that that Calypso gives you that really sets the tone for the stories. The soca is a faster story, but then I think that Calypso is really, it gives you the opportunity to really listen to the words, and you remember, well, this happened.
Yeah, 94.7 FM brings a totally different flavor. So yes, it is 100% Barbadian. So that gives us an opportunity to really delve into the music in a different way. The artists will be in, share what was going on in the various eras when the music was made. So you get to experience the music in a totally different way with 94.7. Likewise, when we switch to 98.1 FM, you get that party vibe.
That's why we are your #1 party station, because it's a full party vibe on 98.1 The One.
Thank you for coming through, Nicole. You're out of school already, at home already, at work already.
Yes.
Yes, same thing.
On the job.
So she's not going back home. Remember, tonight, 98.1 The One Barbados Lottery pop-up parties begin at Flash Zone in Black Rock from 7 p.m. till 1 o'clock. Midnight. I was hoping for a little extra time. All right, so make sure you come on out and check us out tonight at Flash Zone. We're going to take a break and come on back and wrap up today's presentation and this week's presentation of Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, I want to thank you for being with us today on Morning Barbados. Make sure you come on back next week, but it's a big, big weekend. So make sure you head on out and support what's happening this weekend. Happy Mother's Day in advance to all the moms out there. And I know there are a lot of aunties and grannies and so on who play that role. So a special day to you as well. I certainly hope you have a wonderful day with the people who you take care of or you've taken care of through the years. So we have Mum This One Is For You. That's coming up on Sunday, May 14th at 6 o'clock at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center. And that's going to be a good time to be had with Desmond Weeks and a host of wonderful Barbadian entertainers. And then the young people of Barbados are on show on Sunday night from 7:30. It's going to be live on TV8, but you can go on down to the Wildy Gymnasium for Beige to the World to see the finalists. A Santa Blossom is going to be on stage. Cindy Celeste will be there with her spoken word. Imari is going to take you to the theaters. Rican Lane, a superstar from last season, who is back to claim his prize. Young Neffy is the youngest in the lot. We also have coming up on Sunday night, Nisha representing for CP School, and rounding out Shaquan Smith is going to be a part of the cast for the night. Sky Drive, with that big voice, just 11 years old. The showman always brings the show. It's all going down with Yahan J as well on Sunday night at the Wildy Gymnasium. So make sure you're there, or you can tune into CBC TV, many streaming platforms as well. But I'd love to see you out and representing for these talented young people. That's it from us for today and for this week. Join us again on Monday for another presentation of Morning Barbados. Remember to wear your smiles today. Have a great weekend.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.